Alright everybody, welcome to another Stone League game. Up in the top right corner we have AyePros, the yellow Protoss. Bottom left corner we have Lucky as the blue Terran. So, Lucky has not played any games whatsoever recently. He's played before at one point or another, but so he's completely no practice in. AyePros, he does things that he does. So let's see how things go. We do have that double refinery before supply depot coming down. And they're both oversaturated. He must be really wanting that gas. Scout going out? Is it a scout or is it a cannon rush? If I had to guess, if I were AyePros, I'd probably be doing cannon rush right now. He likes to do that. Or is it scouting? He's scouting. Wow, I taught him that, guys. Look at that. Look at that. Look at all those things that the probe is doing. He's just all over the place. Commands queued up. We do have a refiner going on in the third for some reason from Lucky. He does have his barracks finally going down. Those refineries are still oversaturated. His probe is queued up just to scout, which is amazing. It's one thing to scout, but it's another to actually know what the information you're trying to get is. You have a forge and a gateway coming down as well as a nexus at the natural. Not a fully saturated gas. I don't know if that's an oversight or on purpose. Oh, that was on purpose. He does have it rallied there to the simulator. But there is the double refine. I'm not sure why he's doing that. Of all the places to do it, and he's long distance gas mining. Barracks has gone down. He has unsaturated his overly saturated refineries here. This probe is still doing all the things. Let's see if he remembers it's here. Alright, it finished and it's just chilling in the mineral line. We do have a third nexus coming down in the fourth position with AyePros, which is very interesting. He's expanding quite a bit. Still no units from both players. I have not seen a Marine or a Zealot or anything. Still long distance gas mining at the third here position. Oh, there comes the pylon. He does come in, and we are training some Marines finally. Let's see if he does anything with it. First unit of the game, boys. Lucky. I don't see any other units. Two Marines now. 29 probes with the Protoss AyePros, and only 21 SCVs. There is no orbital command, which would be super helpful. Got a second barracks coming down. He's about to have 3 fully saturated bases here momentarily. You have the photon cannons, PC cannons, photons. Coming down, let's see what the photon per minute count's going to be. So there is some coaching going on for Un, because this is his first game ever, apparently. That makes sense, because he has no rhyme or reason of what he's doing. So I do believe that AyePros is probably going to dominate him, but, could be wrong. Been wrong before. We do have a couple of idle SCVs. AyePros is still not built any units. This is highly unusual. Usually he builds tons of Stargates by now. Starts producing them Phoenixes because he likes to go air. Cybernetics core going down. 2 of them. Oh, that double cybernetics core. There's actually no point in building 2 cybernetics cores, guys. For some reason he likes to do that. More photon cannons coming down for that defense. Lucky has built an eBay. So it's pretty clear that Lucky has no idea what he's doing and is taking a shotgun approach, which is to be expected since he's never played before. At least he's building buildings, that's pretty good. AyePros still has not built any units, but he does have a pretty high probe count. He cannot see observer pings. Tony doesn't know that. Alright, natural coming down, which is great. Here are the Stargates, this is what I was looking for. It's a little bit of a mismatch, you know, Lucky has never played before, so this is clearly not a very long match once these carriers come out, or Phoenix, however wants to do it. We do have like 3 robo facilities going down. So robo facilities, that's where you build your immortals. You can also build observers, which can see detection units. We do have the double cybernetics core. It's multiple researching going on.
Mineral field depleted.
Depleted. We're watching his camera right now. Let's see. He's building his 3rd, or it's technically his 4th nexus in the 3rd position. If you guys are unfamiliar with the position, so your main base, obviously, that's position number 1, your main. And base number 2, this is called the natural, and it's always the next base off your ramp. It's the natural base expansion. That's what they call it. And so this position right here, this is called the 3rd position, just because it's right off the natural, the next area over. And then usually to the left here, this is the 4th position. The 4th base usually goes down here, and then this is the 5th position in the right side. And so you might be wondering why I call things the way they call them, even though I may have or not have a base in a certain spot. That's why. So you got your main base, you got your natural, you got your 3rd base here, you got your 4th base here, and your 5th. Sometimes the 5th and the 4th get interchanged depending on what orientation the map is. But generally, when people are playing, usually by the mid game, because you have your early, your mid, and your late game, by mid game you should have your main, your natural, and your 3rd base built and fully saturated by mid game. And then as you move into your late game, that's when the 4th and the 5th get taken. That means your main is mined out, most of your naturals mined out, and you're still going strong with your 3rd, and then you get your 4th. That's for the late game. So we do have a ton of Stargates that are not being used, but we do have some Immortals coming out and Colossus from the robotics facility. So he did build a... Oh, it's... My bad. I was only looking at one side. So he did build a natural here, which is good, but he does need some orbital commands. You can drop mules and scans. Really helpful for Terran. Scans are really good because it helps you see detection, and you can scout, with it. It's nice that he does have units. Let's see here. I'm still trying to figure out all the buttons here. So production being done over here. He's researching some different stuff. Let's see what the army upgrades. Looks like we got 1-1 for Terran, and 1-1 and a bunch of other stuff done for AyePros. So looks like we're moving across the map here. I'm not sure. AyePros will be ready for this. He might actually take out the third. He does have some cannons going down, but this army can beat it, I believe. He does have a metric butt ton of Immortals out. Immortals are really tanky units, pretty good, but they are vulnerable as well. Colossus, very good versus squishy units like Marines and Marauders. Thermal Lance, which has been researched, has not, I lied. Not been researched, makes it extend farther. Do have an attack coming in from Lucky. See what he does with it. Not a lot. Looks like the fourth, or aka the fifth position's been taken by AyePros. Do have a ton of Reapers that came out for Lucky. A little bit of immortal action here. A couple of SCVs for some reason. He probably doesn't know how to siege his tanks. There we go, he's learning how to siege. Ooh, those Marines got decimated. Sorry, this is not a super exciting match. I didn't realize Lucky had that little experience. I thought he had some. Looks like he rallied his Marines across the map accidentally. Gonna die. We do have a Disruptor on the field as well as a Warp Prism. And I think that's going to be a GG here any second now. AyePros has come across the map versus Lucky and he's going to take everything out. You have some more units that are just rallied across the map for some reason. He is building them, they're just going across the map. Yep, you see that that waypoint is way up over here. This one is across the map right here. Unfortunate, because he could have used those tanks and Marines here back in his base. His Colossus are pretty good at not great versus buildings, but you know, if you have enough of them, it works. Immortals are pretty good versus buildings, though. But it's actually interesting because, you know, even though he built all these Stargates, we haven't seen a single air unit. And I think this is the first time I've ever seen AyePros actually build Immortals and Colossus. Those are cool. As cool as these Colossus are, they do get shot by both ground and air because they're so tall. And there's AyePros victory. That's GG.